Hi, this is Carrie, and I have a brand new Cricut Design Space trick for making monograms that nobody else is showing you. I'm talking about making custom luxury monograms where the letters aren't just pushed together, they intertwine with one another. I'm going to show you how I made these wedding and personal monograms where the letters intertwine using only basic Design Space tools. I will give you step-by-step instructions while I create this wedding monogram and this three-letter monogram. It's way easier than you think, so let's jump in. Start by choosing your fonts. I recommend pairing an elegant serif font with a fancy formal script. For my wedding monogram, I'm using a serif font called Playfair for the initials, and I'm going to pair it with the ampersand in a beautiful formal script called Fleur de Lis. Both of these fonts are available for free, and if you want to see a full list of free recommended fonts just like these, you can check out the tutorial on our website by following the link in the video description. So now, if your initials are part of one text block, you can proceed as is, but if they are separate text blocks, then you have to weld them before you proceed. Now, make sure that your middle character is placed over top of the other two letters. I want to make sure that the ampersand will entwine with the inner parts of both the A and the M. So now that I have my text placed where I want it, I'm going to prepare to slice. So select both the top script layer and the bottom letters and click Slice. Now I have 4 layers, and I'm going to give them all different colors so I can easily keep track. The top 2 layers are the script layers. The topmost layer is the parts of the script that don't overlap anything, and I'm going to color this orange. The next layer is the parts of the script that overlap the A and the M. I'm going to leave this yellow. The next 2 layers are the background letters. The third layer is the parts of the A and M overlapped by the ampersand. So this layer is an exact duplicate of the second layer. But I'm going to make this layer blue, and you won't see the color until you delete parts of the script above it. The final layer is the non-overlapped parts of the A and the M, and I'm just going to leave those black. Here are all those layers pulled apart so you can see what I'm talking about. Now here I've put layers 1 and 2 back together, and layers 3 and 4 back together, so I can walk you through what we're going to do with contour. First, we'll hide parts of the yellow layer. This will create gaps in the script layer that will look like they are hidden behind the base initials. Then we move on to the base initials. For every piece that we removed in the yellow layer, those are the only pieces we want to keep in the blue layer. All other pieces of the blue layer will get hidden so that we have a perfect knockout where our script text overlays the initials. Once our layers are finished and united, we will have our completed monogram. Okay, let's get back to it. So now we're going to use contour to create the text effect. So I'm going to move the text to the bottom of the canvas so I can see it while I have the contour window open. You'll use the image on the canvas to guide your choices in the contour window. So it's absolutely critical that you actually be able to see your monogram on the canvas. We're going to start with the second layer. Highlight that layer and open the contour window. This is really the layer that we're going to focus on for creating the interwoven look, and you're going to choose which parts of this layer are going to appear hidden in the final monogram. So you're going to click to hide the parts of the script text, in this case the ampersand, that you want to appear hidden behind the letters. So now you can see that this top loop of the ampersand will appear to encircle the top parts of the inner strokes of the M, and the cross piece will appear as if it is behind the strokes of the A and M. Now that I'm done, I'm going to select layers 1 and 2 in the Layers menu and unite. Next, select the third layer from the Layers panel. Open the contour window and click Hide All Contours. So what you will see now are white spaces that need to be filled. So you will click to add back each piece that you see in white and they will turn blue. This will fill in gaps in your base letters because these are the places that look like they have the script behind them. When you're finished, Select the third and fourth layers in the Layers panel and unite. And that's it! You're now finished building your entwined monogram. What you have left are 2 layers that will fit together like puzzle pieces. The very last thing to do is check each layer to see if there are any extra cut lines. Almost every time I do this technique, it results in an internal cut line or 2. These are just stubborn little places where there is a tiny gap between united pieces. To fix these, you will choose a shape from the Shapes menu, size it, and unite it with the layer so that it patches the cut line. So zoom in really close, and I recommend using an oval if you have curved letters like this. And I'm just going to adjust the size and shape of the oval to fit. You can just go to the Layers panel once you're done and slip your shape into the Unite group, and there's no need to actually click Unite again. Another way you can make a wedding monogram is to simply intertwine the initials as I've done here. It's exactly the same process and very easy. So just to make sure you've got the technique down, I'm going to take you through another example using a 3-letter monogram where the middle initial will entwine with the first and last initials. In this case, I'm going to use a font called Wonder Bright from Creative Fabrica for the first and last initials. And this font is a little thin, so I'm just going to start by adding a 0.05 inch offset to thicken it up and make it easier to cut. I'm also going to use a font called Monte Carlo for the middle initial, and I'm going to thicken this a bit too and give it a 0.02 inch offset. Now I'm going to make sure my text is all placed where I want it, and I like the way that this font looks when I combine the serifs for the initials, so I'll place the K and M close together and weld. Now I'm going to place my B over top where it can intertwine with both initials. You'll want to make sure your middle initial is sized large enough so it will fit exactly the way you want it to. I'm planning on encircling the inner stroke of the M with this small middle loop of the B, so I'm just going to make sure that I have space on either side of that little loop for when I slice it. I want to curl the back loops of the B around the top and bottom parts of the K, and I'll loop the bottom part of the B around the M. Now I'm ready to select all the initials and slice. I'm going to color my first layer orange, leave the next layer yellow, switch the third layer to blue, and leave the fourth layer black. I will place my monogram at the bottom to be able to see it when I use contour. Now I'm going to select that second layer, which is the parts of the B that overlap the K and the M. This is the layer where I'm going to hide parts of the script that I want to look like are behind the other initials. So open the contour window. I'm going to hide these pieces of the back loops of the B behind the top and bottom of the K, then this piece of the B behind the innermost stroke of the M. Then I'll hide the top part of the little middle loop and this tiny piece of the bottom bowl of the B, and that's it. Now I'll select the first and second layers and unite. Now I'll select the third layer and open contour, hide all contours, and now just click every part that looks white on the canvas. Click out of the contour window, select the third and fourth layers, and unite. Now I'm just going to change the color of the initials to check for internal cut lines, and they look okay, so I'll just fix this little cut line in the B. So now let me show you how these monograms fit together for the project. You can cut these out of vinyl or HTV, or even flatten them to create a print and cut image. But for this wedding monogram, I cut the A and M out of Cricut Value vinyl, which is a nice matte black and cuts and weeds very easily at a small size. The ampersand is in Cricut adhesive foil. You can see that they look exactly like they did in Design Space, and they will fit together like puzzle pieces. I'm using a super old piece of transfer tape to transfer onto my wedding invitation, and I just transfer my base initials first. Then I place my ampersand exactly where it fits into the other initials. What you will find is that placement of the top script is pretty easy because it will only fit into the base initials one way. You just have to take some time to figure out the angle that you need to fit in the script that won't result in any gaps between the script and the base initials. Because the ampersand has a lot of thin pieces, I like to use an embossing stylus to do my transfer without sticking the transfer tape to my paper. And voila! Very easy, the monogram is perfect. I ended up doing the same transfers for the wedding invitation folder and 2 different favor boxes to give you some idea of how you can use this technique. I cut the alternate 2-letter wedding monogram out of black value vinyl and copper premium vinyl, and I transferred it the exact same way, transferring the M first and overlaying the A. The 3-letter monogram is cut out of true brushed vinyl and also transferred the same way, KM first and then overlaying the B on top. Thanks so much for watching! I hope you've enjoyed seeing another advanced project you can make using only basic Design Space tools. If you want to take your monograms to the next level, don't forget to check out the list of awesome fonts for intertwining, along with the full tutorial at sniptoit.com. You'll find all the links in the video description below. Happy crafting!